All right, Beau, looks like we are live and you are listening to Two Dudes.
Two Dudes. Same fantasy, man.
I'm Brian Gebhardt. That's Beau Johnson. We're trying to celebrate a little Cinco de Mayo, so that's why Beau's at the beach over there. I'm not as smart, so I didn't figure out the filter, but Beau's hanging. He looks like he's part of a Corona commercial right now. He just needs the actual beer, the lime. They might as well just start selling hammocks in the Corona packs, too.
That would be awesome.
One thing. But yeah, we're hanging out here. We're going to have some fun today, reacting to the draft and what it means for fantasy football. We're going to do just a first round mock draft for dynasty leagues. And we really encourage people who haven't done it. If you just do redraft leagues or regular leagues, as some people know them as, dip your toe into the dynasty leagues. They're a lot of fun. There's trades go on throughout the off season. We already have a league that Beau and I are in. We've already got people on the trade block. Another league that we're in with Tommy, one of our loyal listeners. He's already sending me trades about Cortland Sutton and all sorts of good stuff. So it's really fun. It lasts year round, and we really encourage people to do dynasty if you like fantasy football a lot, because it's just a fun year-round thing. And it's the closest thing to being a GM that you're ever going to do without working for a team or anything like that. So it's a blast from that sense. So we're going to go through a first-round mock draft with the dynasty rankings, how we've got them, and I'll start off with the one pick. And then after we do that, we're going to talk about the people that we like in redraft leagues, if there's rookies that we like a little bit more, maybe for just this year versus the long-term kind of view of it. So we'll all encompassing here. And of course, hit us up with all of your questions right there. Just leave a comment for us. We'll get to them as we can. And I'll lead us off here. We'll start with the number one pick in the mock Two Dudes Same Fantasy Dynasty Draft, though. I'm going to take Najee Harris, the surefire, no doubt number one pick to me when it comes to dynasty. Looks like you're a little frozen on that end. Hopefully you're still with me there. But it's an easy pick for me. I think it's as easy as the Jags picking Trevor Lawrence, and Najee Harris is the no-brainer number one overall pick when it comes to dynasty for me.
Yeah, I like that pick. That's where I would go to. As far as opportunity goes, Najee Harris is going to get all the opportunity that he can carry. He's also a bigger dude, but he's elusive and hard to tackle. You know, Pittsburgh's got some offensive line issues, so I'm a little bit worried about that. But as far as a dynasty, you know, once you get into dynasties, you're really going to draft based on need as well, not necessarily just the best player. This player could probably fill out both of those, though. And when do you not need running backs in fantasy football? I mean, look at the 49ers situation last year, so that's why they took another one this year. So, yeah, I like that pick with Najee Harris at number one.
And the thing with Najee Harris, too, I just want to add is that, like, he showed all the pass catching ability last year. It's going to be very doubtful that he's in a timeshare. And if he is in a timeshare, it's going to be a very limited one with Benny Snell maybe taking a few snaps from him here or there. But this is going to be his backfield from day one. And, obviously they spent the first round pick on him. So, yeah, Najee Harris should be your number one overall pick in dynasty drafts. Who you got in the 2 spot, Beau? Who are you taking?
I'm trying to get some stuff shared here on.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Beau sharing some stuff on Facebook. Again, this is Two Dudes Same Fantasy. You can find Beau at Jedi Sports Radio. You can find myself at Brian_Gebhardt. If you haven't done it already, download the Odyssey app, Odyssey.com. That's what radio.com used to be, but we are Odyssey now, so check that out. 929thegame.com website. We've got a ton of Facebook Lives going on. We just had a stoppage time earlier today. We got a no swag shop tomorrow. Batter up on Mondays for you guys. We even got NASCAR for you if you want that. I think Beau does that tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, I believe. So ton of stuff for you, but we're here for fantasy football, and now we're here for Beau's number 2 pick.
So if anybody out there knows how to put a frame around a Facebook Live Zoom video, we have a fancy one that you'd like the stoppage time guys use. Maybe we should refer to them. Drop it in the comments there. But send us your questions too. Hey, number 2, man, I'm going with Ja'Marr Chase out of LSU for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a pretty obvious number 1 wide receiver off the dynasty. He's a huge dude. He can catch. He can run. He's got all. I'm super worried. I would have rather, for Joe Burrow's sake, see the Cincinnati Bengals take Penei Sewell with that pick. Again, Joe Burrow can't throw anything to Ja'Marr Chase from his back. He's already gotten a blown out knee. Super concerned about their offensive line. But when it comes to talent and opportunity, they already have chemistry. You know, I actually like this pick for Tyler Boyd too, because you're not going to be able to double team anybody on the Cincinnati Bengals. AJ Green heads off to Arizona, leaves a lot of freaking targets on the table. So it's not like he's going to steal a lot away from Tyler Boyd, you know? So if I'm picking number 2 in a dynasty draft and you take Najee Harris off the board, I'm going with Ja'Marr Chase.
Yeah, I got no problem with Ja'Marr Chase. I've got him ranked 3 overall, but you could talk me into him easily being in that 2 spot. I think he's the top wide receiver. And for me, it's not particularly close. I know Jalen Waddle is extremely talented, and Devontae Smith. I just love the situation that Chase fell into. Yes, he will have to compete with targets a little bit to start with Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, but I think by the middle of the season, he's going to be wide receiver 1 there in Cincinnati, and him and Burrow will have it cooking to where he's the main guy. They're gonna run the offense, through him. And especially if you see another season where Joe Mixon, because we don't know what the foot thing's going to be with him this year. I mean, he pretty much missed the second half, if not even more, of the season last year. So if he's banged up again, you could even get more Ja'Marr Chase targets early on because Mixon's a part of that passing game. But yeah, can't go wrong with Ja'Marr Chase. He's a stud. For me, now that I've got the 3 pick, it's back on me. I'm going to go with Javonte Williams, and that's who I've got ranked number 2. A lot of people have Travis Etienne as their second running back, and this could change. We're going to see how this all develops. But the fact that Javonte Williams, the Broncos traded up for him, ironically, in that 35 overall spot to the Falcons, where a lot of people wanted the Falcons to draft Javonte Williams in that specific spot. The Broncos went up and got him. And a couple different things with this. The Broncos are still, this is a defensive-oriented team, even though they're really got more of the firepower on offense with this, but they have a defensive-minded head coach. They want to run the football. They got a couple offensive linemen as well throughout the rest of the draft. They got that crazy guard from University of Wisconsin, Whitewater, the Canadian guy who's, training in the mountains and all sorts of stuff. But I think Javonte Williams has the best chance to be this year's Jonathan Taylor. I don't think he found himself in exactly the same spot, but Jonathan Taylor drafted 41st overall. He went to a place where he was going to have to compete for carries. Marlon Mack wound up tearing his Achilles. Javonte Williams is going to come in. The only person he's got to compete with is Melvin Gordon, who is aging a little bit and is on the last year of his contract. So for dynasty purposes, if he doesn't take over the backfield within the first month or so, it will be by the end of the season, and he will definitely be their starting running back the following year. So I really like Javonte Williams. I'll take him 3rd overall.
Yeah, in a dynasty, I like that pick. I have him on here. He was in my top 5. He wasn't at number 3. So that leaves Jalen Waddle out there for me. I'll take Jalen Waddle at number 4 here. You got to like the opportunity for this guy too, but you're still going to be worried about the quarterback situation. He is reunited with his guy Tua, so I think the Miami Dolphins actually did do a little bit to shore up their offensive line a little bit. Got a couple running backs back there. But, Jalen Waddle, of the 2 Alabama running back or wide receivers, this is the bigger guy. He can still fly down the field at like 4.3 speed, runs great routes. So look for a lot of opportunity for Jalen Waddle over in Miami this year.
I've got Jalen Waddle down just a little bit further. I've got him ranked 7th overall. I got a couple running backs, and with the name I'll get to here in just a second. But I love Jalen Waddle's talent. I think he went to a good spot for him as far as like winning football games and all that stuff. Does it worry you at all that, all right, now they've got Devontae Parker and they just signed Will Fuller, who is suspended, I think, for the first game or 2. I have to double check exactly when I think it might just be the first week. But you've got 3 guys that are kind of these.
I think it's actually two full games.
Yeah, 2 full games. Yeah, so it might be Waddle might be, even more beneficial for the first game or 2. But are you worried about that at all? That he's going to be, splitting target? And this is still a team in the Dolphins that they are built off their defense. This is a team that wants to run the ball first. Yes, they're getting to some weapons, and they're going to air it out and try to score with all these other teams. But does it worry you that he might start off as wide receiver 3 in an offense that might not see a ton of targets to wide receivers?
Well, he's going to get that opportunity to bust through in the first 2 weeks with Will Fuller not even on the field. So, and about Will Fuller's health issues. He was actually able to stay healthy all of last season, I believe, but then he gets hit with a PED suspension. So maybe that's why, you know? So he's going to start out at the number 2 spot. He has the opportunity in those first couple of weeks to earn his way into this pecking order, but I mean, you're talking about a dynasty draft here, and hopefully your team is solid enough to where you're not drafting your wide receiver 1. You're more so drafting your flex or your wide receiver 3, hopefully. So I think he could fit in very early at either of those spots.
Gotcha. So it's one of those things where the upside still outweighs, since it's a dynasty draft, the longevity of it. Plus, like you mentioned, the Will Fuller injuries. And to that point, Devontae Parker can't stay healthy either. So maybe Waddle is the guy who, seizes that wide receiver 1 spot and becomes that guy. But it'll be interesting.
And then, look, the chemistry these guys had in college that's now going to come to the pros, that is going to be a thing. You know, they already know, the quarterback and wide receiver already know what routes and how they run routes and when they're going to cut and you know, tendencies whenever the quarterback gets in trouble to come back to him, where he's going to throw the ball to. So,
yeah.
You like, and this happened 3 times in this draft, also with Hurts too. So, you know, that's going to be a thing to pay attention to.
Yeah, man, the reunion thing was so fun. We actually joked about it on the midday show on Andy and Randy before the draft. I was like, how many reunions could we see? And we were like, maybe 1, maybe 2. And then there was 3 by the 10th pick.
And I guess with Etienne, there's 4,
exactly,
really, right? Yeah.
Exactly, with Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. And there's some people that are really stretching it to Felipe Franks, who might be the Falcons' 3rd quarterback, probably won't wind up making the roster, and Kyle Pitts, who they selected 4th overall, since they played together. I know people are just...
Hey, they'll have great chemistry in practice.
But
maybe.
That does lead me to my next pick for Dynasty. I'm taking Kyle Pitts at 5th overall. I think the positional advantage for a tight end in Dynasty is just enormous. He is, to me, the next Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, George Kittle, however you want to, whichever one you want to compare him to there. I just think getting Pitts versus the other guys that are on the board, the other running backs and the wide receivers at this point, just the fact that a team with a new offensive core, a new head coach, a new offensive play calling coach in Arthur Smith, who's known to do well with tight ends. You also had Hayden Hurst, the 5th-year option, not picked up for the Falcons, so they're clearly invested for Pitts for now and into the future. I just think that the difference maker he's going to be at the tight end position for you is going to be huge and too big to pass up past the 5 spot in dynasty drafts.
See, I don't know if I can. Late first round is where, now this is based on what you need to fill out your own team. So I'm in need of a tight end. That could happen. I doubt he's going to be there. I'm in 5 in one draft. The one that I'm in with you, I'm not sure where I'm at, but I have Waller, so I have no need for a tight end there. I don't know, man. He's still a tight end. Look, he might be a generational talent. He might not be. But he's also on one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL. And while they will throw the ball a lot, I don't know if he can put up those Travis Kelce type numbers, Darren Waller type numbers with all those. Now, Julio gets traded. Maybe they're grooming Kyle Pitts to be that next guy, because that's kind of what the tight end position is turning into. It's not even really a tight end anymore. They're just bigger wide receivers. They line them out, wide. They hardly even play in that tight end spot anymore. So 4 is a little bit of a stretch unless you're in need of a tight end and your team's pretty solid. Then by all means, go ahead. The Falcons have put together a nice little fantasy team there. And with the fact that they haven't done much to fix their defense, all of their fantasy guys, they're at least top 3 guys, the 3 pass catchers, should be in line for pretty decent seasons. So if you need a tight end, by all means, you're going to get a good one there. There's actually another one that you can probably get in the 2nd or 3rd round. I don't think anybody's going to pay attention to over in Pittsburgh. So a little high for me, unless you have need at tight end. And who doesn't need a tight end? There's only 3 good ones. So Kyle Pitts off the board at pick 4.
Yeah, one thing we'll pick 5 because we got Najee, we had Chase, Javonte Waddle, Pitts. Yeah. One thing for Pitts, and this is something where, we said we're going to get to towards the end, but we'll tie it in a little bit here. This is for dynasty drafts now. Yeah. Pitts, I would wait on, like in redraft leagues, I'd kind of be more wait and see. I think he'll be drafted too early in redraft leagues, but I could just see 1 year from now, no Hayden Hurst on this roster, no Julio Jones on this roster, and all of a sudden it's the Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts show. And then I think he is one of those guys by year 2, the Kelce, the Waller, the Kittle, that sort of thing. So Kyle Pitts off the board at 5.